My name is Vincent Ziba. I sit on the board of Center for Environmental Justice, an institution that is championing this rally that we are here to witness today on climate and environmental justice, basically. Yeah, so I'm a board chair of the CEJ. So, yeah, climate change, this is a discussion that has been going on now for some time in recognizing the impact of human activities on the environment and leading to changes in climate change phenomena. So this is where you see the climate change elements. The climate change elements like temperature on average going up more than normal, the frequencies of certain phenomena like drought and floods. They are all linked to temperature changes, on average global temperature changes, which has been mainly influenced by increasing carbon emissions into the atmosphere due to human activities more related to greenhouse gas emissions, which can be due to land use, due to industrial activities that over the years have changed the composition into the atmosphere and causing these changes that we are experiencing and have got negative impact on human life, especially as it relates to livelihoods that are more dependent on climate change aspects, on climate related aspects like rainfall, water scarcity. All those aspects are now affected due to these changes in the atmospheric conditions. Yeah, so environmental justice basically now, this is a terminology that we use considering that environmental benefits is a global good for all of us, These are the benefits that the environment, provides to humankind for existence. So this is when you look at environment, it relates to many other aspects like ecosystems, services. What benefits do you get for living, from the clean air, from the clean water, that we breathe in. These are services that environment provides for well-being of human beings. But alas, due to human activities, there's been unfair management of the environment, particularly with elements that are causing climate change. Industrial waste and industrial pollution, unsustainable land use practices, that ultimately now causes the environment not to provide benefits to the global community as it is designed. So one group, especially the industrialized countries, over the years, because of industrialization, caused this climate change, and up to now they are the major contributors to emissions into the atmosphere. But the consequences are felt by countries that do not pollute, but they suffer the consequences of the pollutions from industrial waste from industrialized countries, which is injustice, because the environmental good is a global benefit for everybody. But the pollutions that are caused by a few are causing impacts on those that are not participating in the industrialization that is leading to their wealthiness, but you suffer the consequences, which is an injustice in its way. So environmental justice is a phenomenon that you can describe on how unfair we treat environmental benefits and how we cause impact on environment and subsequently causing negative impacts on the others. lot of discussions on how can we mitigate and adapt to climate change. It requires finances. And we know there are industrial waste and industrialization still going on. There are all aspects of how can those that are causing these climate phenomena compensate the others to adapt. This is where at the global discussions we have elements of how can we compensate those that are not contributing. And there are a number of programs like now in terms of the fund, the global fund through the climate change discussions that are being established. We have the Green Climate Fund initiatives where countries are committed, especially countries from the north, that contribute a lot to emission levels into the atmosphere. And how can we also play a role in terms of contributing to reducing, as managing the sinks like the forest, which we know that they reduce carbon, the carbon amount into the atmosphere through conversion into their processes of photosynthesis and others. So as we manage the forest and pollutions are going on in a just way, how can the others be fairly treated? We have impacts on infrastructure due to climate change. There are discussions now on the damage and loss. How can the damages that we are experiencing, especially in the third world countries that are not emitting and causing this climate change impact, how can they be supported for the losses that even when you adapt, you still cannot meet the changes that have been caused by climate change impacts? So in the discussions of climate justice is about how can we compensate the losses in the livelihoods, those that are not in the cause effect. When it comes to environmental justice, it's a bigger discussion, which includes you and me. As we manage the environment in many ways possible, starting from your own homestead, how do you ensure that you are responsible for the environment and doing little to damage the environment itself so that you can get benefit from the environment? So in a just way, you need to realize that we all are players in managing the environment for the global benefit. It could be from the land use, it could be from the forest, it could be from the disposal of waste. How do you yourself dispose waste? Are you doing it in a just way that you take care that you are destroying for the future generations to come? So it's a theory that borders on our own responsibility to the environment. We need to treat it in a just way because we need to protect it for the future generations to get the benefits out of the environment itself. So when you differentiate the two from the climate change impact and from the environmental state, environment is a broader issue that you and me, we need to protect in a just way for the future generations that are yet to be born. Yeah.